Okay, we're on Terumot Perek Hey Mishnah Aleph. Terumot Perek Hey Mishnah Aleph. Until now we've been discussing bittul, how you nullify and the amount you need, which is basically 1 to 100. But now we're going to find out what happens if truma falls into less than 100. What do you do with the mixture? How do you deal with it? Because truma is kadosh, it can only be eaten by the kohanim. And we're going to discuss the ramifications of a number of different scenarios. So as you can see, it's a pretty long Mishnah, but I also made you a chart. I sort of divided it into chart form to make it a little bit more understandable, as I hope that will help. Says the Mishnah. Sa'as truma tameah. I have a sa'a, one measurement of truma tameah. It's impure. Truma tameah is defiled, it's tameh. And the halacha is that a truma tameah, you give it to the kohen, has to be burned. But he can benefit from burning it. He can use it for the heat. If it's olive oil, he can use it for oil, but he has to burn it. But what happens if it's a truma tameah? Shenafla lepachot mimea chulin. It fell into a mixture of less than 100 chulin. So now I've got 51 se'ah of demai. Okay, not of demai, of meduma. Excuse me, not demai. Demai is something else. Of truma of chulin medumaat with an ayin. Okay, that has I'll just write it for you so you know how to write that. Okay, meduma. Meduma means it has truma in it. Chulin with truma mixed in, that's not battel. Okay, so and this is truma tameah, it fell into pachot mimea chulin, or the ma'aser rishon, or it fell into less than 100 of ma'aser rishon, or the ma'aser sheni, or your ma'aser sheni. Remember, ma'aser sheni, you were willing to take it to Yerushalayim. Oh, the hegdish, I've got this whole, pot of grain, this whole pile of grain, and I said I'm going to give it to the Beit HaMikdash. Bein tameim, bein tehorim. So it fell into any one of these things, truma tameah, whether the chulin, or ma'aser rishon, or ma'aser sheni, or hegdish are tamei or tahor. Yerakevu. Yerakevu means you have to let it get rotten. You have to let it rot. So that's our first line. Truma tameah that fell into chulin, ma'aser rishon, ma'aser sheni, hegdish, whether these were tahor or tamei. Yerakevu, you have to let them rot. Why? Says the Mishnah, the Terumah, the Kohen can't eat it because it's truma tameah. So why don't you say, okay, then burn it? You can't burn it, and we're afraid, dilma. If you leave around all of this grain, say I'm going to use it for firewood, you're going to have a problem because someone's going to take it and eat it. You're going to eat from it. Why? This is meduma, because a mixture of truma, people are more makil, they're more lenient. If you have it lying around, people are going to come to eat it. And that's a problem because it's going to be an isur mita b'dei shamayim. So that's the first case. So you have to let it rot, nobody can touch it, you can't even burn it. So now I have truma tahora that fell into a mixture. Truma tahora fell into either chulin, ma'aser rishon, ma'aser sheni, or egdish. Okay? So we're going to discuss each one individually. So if it fell into chulin, I have 51 se'ah, and one of those, somewhere in this 51 se'ah pile, I got a pile of straw, and somewhere in the 51, one of them is truma. So I can't eat it because it belongs to, Yisrael can't eat it because it belongs to there's truma in it, so only the Kohen can eat it. So I have to sell it to the Kohen, I can sell it to the value of truma. Obviously the truma market is going to be less expensive because only Kohanim can buy it. So I sell it to him, but I can't sell him 51 because one of them belongs to the Kohen. I sell it to him for the value of 50 se'ah of demei truma, of produce, of wheat at the price of truma. Because the Kohanim had their own market, so whatever the price of truma was, at least I can benefit, and that way I don't lose all the chulin. Im the ma'aser rishon nafla. Let's say my se'ah fell into 50 se'ah of ma'aser rishon. Yikra shem l'trumat ma'aser. You should call shem l'trumat ma'aser. We're going to see the Terumah's explanation of this, what that means. Okay? Im the ma'aser rishon tahor shalom yilam mimenu trumat ma'aser nafla. So my se'ah. Let's see if I can find this se'ah, and I can find here we go. I'll take out. 1 second. Let's cut that. Okay. I've got my 50 bushels. There we go. I got my 50 bushels. And let's say my se'ah. Let's see if I find my se'ah. There we go. And I got my one bushel of grain. Oops. I wonder if that works here. I don't want to do that. Here we go. My one bushel of grain got mixed into my 50 bushels. So it's all mixed in. So I've got 51 bushels, and one of those is truma, and this is Maaser Rishon. So there says the Mishnah, Yikra Shem Trumat Maaser. What do I do? Says the Bartanura. Let's go back. Okay? Yivakesh meham Levi sheachlifeim lo b'chulin. So I say to the Levi, listen, what you can do is v'yasem Levi Trumat Maaser al tivlo. I say to Levi, listen, I got 51 bushels. 50 is Maaser. One of them is Trumat Maaser. So I have to give the whole thing to a Kohen. So I tell you what, you give me chulin back, I'll trade you all of this. I guess if it's Trumat Ma, if it's the Maaser Rishon, if it fell into Maaser Rishon, okay. I asked the Kohen, the Levi, why he'll switch it with me. It's interesting why he said he will switch it with me, okay. And the Tosafot have asked this question. I don't understand. He said, look at the Maaser, he says, why does he have to switch it? Anyway, forget switching it. You give it to the Levi, okay? And you say to the Levi, listen, the Levi, you can make it Trumat Maaser. Let's say you have you have to give it one time. Let's say you have 500 sa'ah somewhere else. So this 51 sa'ah, 50 sa'ah, 1 sa'ah belongs to the Kohen. But this 50 sa'ah, you can make it Trumat Maaser and give it all to the Kohen, and then you won't have to take Trumat Maaser on anything else. Okay, that's what it means. The Bartanura says, Yikra Shem Trumat Maaser. So the whole thing is now Maaser with 1 sa'ah of Truma in it, and you make that whole thing Trumat Maaser for other produce. The Kahati has a different explanation, probably because the Bartanura is switching with the Chulin is questionable. If it fell into Maaser or Hegdish, Hare Elu Yipadu. You can redeem the value of the Maaser Sheni or the Hegdish. You could just redeem them, and then the rest, and then you can sell it to the Kohen. 1 second. Right. You redeem the V'yochel Demei Maaser b'Yerushalayim. You take the Maaser Sheni, you redeem it for its value, and you take that to Yerushalayim. V'adimua, and the 51 sa'ah you have, Yimkor l'Kohanim b'Demei Truma chutz midemei ota sa'ah. So that's the situation in the case of Truma Tahora falling into Chulin, Maaser Rishon, Chulin, you just sell it to the Kohen, Maaser Rishon, you give it to the Levi, Maaser Sheni and Egdesh, you redeem the value, and then you sell it to the Kohen like you would Chulin. I.e., you make this Maaser Sheni or Egdesh Chulin, and then you treat it like Chulin. Now, the Mishnah continues. V'im tmeim hayu otam chulin. Let's say Truma Tahora. 1 sa'ah fell into 50 sa'ah of chulin tmeim. Now you can. The Truma was tahor, but the chulin, but it's not mixed with chulin tmeim, so the Kohen can't eat it. Therefore, the Mishnah says, ye'achlu nikudim o klayot. You eat it nikudim o klayot. What are nikudim o klayot? Nikudim. What is nikudim? Pirush biyovesh, dry. That's one interpretation. Okay, kimo yavesh haya nikudim. That's the interpretation of the Bartanura. The Kahati has a different explanation. Let me see if I can find it. Nikudim. The Kahati says nikudim are kikarot tanot, and small loaves. As we're going to see later in 1 second, oklayot, or roasted. We're going to see it later. A small loaf, it's small measurement, it's not mekabel tuma. Okay? Oklayot, roasted. If you just roast it, it never becomes wet. It doesn't. Then the truma can never become wet and become tameh from the truma that it fell into. Any food that did not become wet from the seven liquids, there are 7 famous liquids. And so, in order for the fruit to become tameh, it has to become wet. And it can only become tameh if it became wet from one of the 7 famous liquids. The 7 famous liquids are, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, water, dew, wine. I wonder if you heard any of this. Water, dew, wine, oil, blood, milk, and honey. So if it didn't become wet from any of those seven famous liquids, then it's not mukshar lekabel tuma, and the Kohen can, and then the Kohen can eat it because it never became tameh. So that's the meaning of yochel nekudim. Nekudim, he says, is dry, o klayot, or roasted. Or you just knead it with mei perot, with fruit juice, because fruit juice is not one of the 7 liquids we just listed. So therefore, doesn't become tameh. Or the truma doesn't become tameh. Or yidchalku le'isot. Or you divide it up into smaller amounts, less than a beitza, less than an egg size worth of doughs. And if it's less than 1 kibetza, then it's smaller than that amount, it cannot become tameh. Then it doesn't, then the tumah, the loaves themselves are not mekabel tumah, they're not tameh themselves, and they don't make the person eating them tameh as well. So the Kahati says, in each of these ways, in each of these different ways, whether it's dry or roasted or kneaded with fruit juice, or you separate it into smaller ways, he says, in all these ways, the Kohen can eat this midumah, this mixture of chulim tmeim with truma to hara, in each of these ways. So the Mishnah gives you solutions for every one of these cases, as we saw. Truma to hara falling into less than 100 of chulim tmeim. It gives you all these options in order to figure out a way for the Kohen to eat them. We'll stop here. It's a long Mishnah. If you have any comments or questions, as always, rspotter@gmail.com. I'll dedicate our learning to the memory of my father, Rav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Have a great day.